So, welcome to your next podcast about the Lose the Booze Transformation Challenge. And I apologize if I start to look over to the right because I'm constantly looking over in that direction when I'm doing my other podcast. But I'm talking to you guys tonight about a couple things. We are a few weeks in now. There's been a lot of things that we've been seeing. There's been a lot of things that have been popping up, and there's been a lot of truths that are starting to come to light that we must now kind of engage in since some realities are starting to manifest. So, first and foremost, one thing that's kind of becoming, popular with everyone is we all are noticing that we aren't eating that much. Um, Even if we had an idea that it's possible we might not have been getting a lot of calories, now we're seeing we've not been getting a lot of calories. We see a little bit of what we expect going out. Everybody's averaging, anywhere between 6 to 1,200, sometimes even more going out per day, depending on what you're doing. You're starting to get an idea that everything is included. The minute I hop off the bed, my energy is starting to go out the door. So that means my calorie out is starting to count. The minute I start consuming anything, my calorie count starts to come in. Water, breakfast, coffee, oatmeal, overnight oats, whatever your poison, it's now starting to come in. And so what we're looking for is that area in between, that deficit that's going to keep us good. And a lot of you guys are starting to do things like utilize MyFitnessPal. And if you haven't, I would say download one of these services. Some of you guys have used the premium versions and you've been able to manipulate some things a little bit more. You've been able to put in, I would like to lose 1.5 pounds per week. And it's kind of showing what you have coming in, what you got coming out, and what you need to be adding. And the same thing keeps popping up. Travis, it is saying it's no way I can get to that number. So what did we do last week? We took these numbers down. So now for the next 2 weeks, our awareness that we used as our focus for the first portion of this challenge is now more geared towards this new number and seeing how we're fluctuating in and out. Now, the great thing is some of you are already seeing changes even in the early stages of this challenge, and that's actually more to what you were doing leading up to. And that's one thing that you also got to remember. Like how we make our way through these challenges is very, very important. And it's very, very dependent on what's going on outside of those gym walls. And sometimes what's going on outside of, that kitchen or the grocery store. So one of the things that we are still seeing some problems with, and the reason why I don't see the numbers of the calories coming in and coming out as a problem right now. And the main reason why those are not problems, because this is what we are building awareness. So that's not a problem. But one of the things that we are seeing that are becoming problems is lack of sleep is still going on. And now that we're starting to do a little bit of tracking, and a lot of us are getting the tracking going along with the sleep also, we're noticing that's playing into this. And now it's starting to make us kind of not perform, not move, not feel up to our normal standards. And these are the things that are constantly going to happen if you are truly dedicated to transforming your body. There is sacrifices. There are things that you have to give up. Yes, we know this. There are certain things that you just have to cut back on. We may not know what those are just yet, right? But one of the things that we do know is we're going to have some obstacles, we're going to have some challenges, we're going to have some things that are going to get in the way. And the biggest thing that's always going to get in the way is life, man. And we were in the gym today talking about a couple studies that really reference what Angela Duckworth's talking about in this book. And I'm so glad, even though all these books are controversial that are on this list, they do provide some insight. And one of the insights that is being addressed, is being talked about right now, that's in regards to a transformation of our country, is the lack of grit that we have. We have a lot of people living off of egos and malice, and it's just so much benevolent behavior going on that doesn't even make any sense. A lot of people mad for it, no reason whatsoever, because they're just not taking care of themselves and they're not even trying. There are certain things that people like to talk about with willpower and all these other. Look, man, you are the captain of your own vessel. You crashing or you sailing? What you doing? I think the best thing in this last portion, and I'm gonna leave you guys on this, recognize your setbacks, man. Like, it's okay. And I had to tell so many of you, almost every single one of you in the challenge, I had to tell this last week that it is okay that you're not eating as much as you thought you were, or you're not drinking as much water as you thought you were. And some of you have made little changes just in that amount of time. And guess what? It's working already. But some of you are still a little hesitant. You're still a little leery. And that's why it has to be personal to you. If it's not internalized in you, then there's no way anyone else is ever going to be able to do it for you. And they shouldn't have to. But remember, so much stuff out there, man. The only reason you have to be careful is because people are just generally trying to sell you stuff. That's it. Nobody's trying to kill you. Everybody gets exposed. I don't care if it's Liver King or Jillian from The Biggest Loser or any of the contestants from any of those shows. Everybody gets exposed, man. We know it's all an act. We know it's all for eyes on screens and butts in seats. But we have so many experts out there. And look, I'm going to tell you guys from day one, I'm not trying to claim to be an expert in any of this. I am just a guy that has been standing in a gym for over 20 years watching these behaviors, training people through these problems. And you name it, man, from boob jobs to amputees to post rehab surgeries. I've been blessed enough to be able to work with people in every shape, form, and fashion: men, women, children, older people, younger. Every generation that's out there, I've been able to touch, and that's a blessing, man. But what it does is it allows me to sit back and get a lot of perspective. And that's all I ever say. It's just like, that's it. Experience, perspective. And then I get my research. Then I get my education. Then I go out and I remind myself that I got to be able to provide these strategies for you guys so that you can navigate through all this. But like I always say, watch it, invest it, but don't invest in it. Don't give these people your money, man. And I'm not trying to say that so you guys save your money for me, but if you want to come to the gym, but you are doing fantastic, every single one of you. We might have had a couple bad nights of sleep. As you can hear, even me, like, even when I'm like, look, people, when I'm at my healthiest is when you will hear me my snottiest and stuff like that, because you are depleting yourself when you're taking care of yourself. I saw a ex-girlfriend today running through the neighborhood, and I stopped and I talked to her for a second, and she participates in some of those challenges, and she's coming up on her last days and stuff like that, and she looks great, and it's something that keeps her focused, and she's a person that it was very, very hard to just remain focused on anything. So I understand why there are even things that I consider to be extreme that can grab people. But I will also tell you, man, it ain't that hard. And the only thing that I never say to people like her anymore that I used to say when I first got into training is, why do you have to keep doing this challenge every year or every other year? Like, at the end of the day, man, for some people, 365 days of the year is hard, you know, not just 75 or 71. But like I said, man, it's kind of like religion. I never knock religion, primarily because I understand that it takes a lot sometimes to get people to even get out of the bed every day. So if something like faith is going to help people get up and start moving and be productive and be parts of this damn world that we all have to pitch in, and somehow everybody didn't want to take, then, you know. But that's what we're doing. We're building that positive support network right here with the Lose the Booze Challenge. That's the whole purpose. So we got weigh-ins coming up, your bi-weekly weigh-ins coming up. I'm wishing that you guys come in with just the intention to get that weigh in. Don't even think about it, and let's get right to your workout. We will talk on our one-on-one Zoom calls. We will see what's going on. We will make our adjustments, and we keep going, man. We rolling. All right. So you guys know the drill. Hit me with an email if you have any questions. Do not hesitate to reach out, and take care of yourselves. And for anyone that might be participating in Ramadan, much blessings to you. And please take care of yourself, because that is such a very, very hard thing to do with the fasting from sun up to sundown. But it is something that is so important to your people. So, honor and love to all your traditions and everything you guys hold sacred. But please make sure you're taking care of yourself, especially if you're in the fitness community at this time. Talk to you guys on the next one.